Hello and welcome to the NurseHack4Health Microsoft Teams training session. I'm your host, Dave Upton. I work for Microsoft as a Senior Customer Success Manager in the healthcare and life sciences. And if you've already been in the NurseHack4Health team, you've likely seen my name on a number of posts and announcements. I first want to say thank you to everyone that is attending today and everyone that has registered so far for the upcoming hackathon. If you're watching the recording, I'll thank you as well. We will probably do another one of these sessions later, but we are going to be recording this session, so you can go back and watch it later. I also would like to thank all the participants that are coming back that have also attended our May hackathon. We are going to show some things that'll be a refresher for you on those, but we do have some new things that we do want to show you around creating teams and finding participants to join your team. So stay with us for that. I do have a few housekeeping items I want to go over before I hand it over to our presenter, Samantha Brown. You'll all notice that in the upper, actually back up on that. So let me open this up here. Are you sharing? Skip to the next, go ahead. Yep. So perfect. We do encourage everyone to ask questions. So please ask away. We'll get to how you do that in 1 second. All the questions will be moderated. They will only show for the moderators unless we actually publish those out. We'll likely just publish announcements to answer a lot of the questions though. And we're also going to take some breaks and I'll field those questions over to Samantha as we get going. We'd love to know where you're from, so feel free to give a shout out in the Q&A panel for that. We will publish those out for you. Like I mentioned, we will be recording this. The videos will be available on the NurseHack4Health video channel. There is an AKA link here. You don't have to worry about writing it down. We'll definitely provide it. And then to going on to how do you actually post that question, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see the 2 chat bubbles. One of them will have a question mark in it. Open that up, and that'll open up a right-hand pane on the right-hand side of your screen. At the bottom of that, you'll be able to post your question. You can provide your name if you want, or you can post it anonymously as well. Once you post your question, like I said, we'll try to get those answered. And if I can't answer it, I'll feed that over to Samantha as we get going. So with that, I'm actually going to hand this over to Samantha. I will mention one last thing within the live event on the bottom. If you do have to step away, you can pause it. And then just when you get back, just hit play again and it will continue. And there's a live button as well. You can just click the live link and it'll take you right over to the live where we're presenting. So I will hand it over to Sam Brown right now. Go ahead and introduce yourself and I will send you live.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. And hello, everyone. So glad to be a part of NurseHack4Health this go around. I'm a technical specialist for the Teams product and every one of my customers is in healthcare. So really excited to get to work with you all. I'm going to take you through the basics of Teams so that you are all set and ready to go for interacting when it comes to the hackathon itself. So again, like Dave said, we want to make this super interactive. This session is for you. Please ask questions. We will pause at the end of each section and Dave will feed me questions. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Here is our agenda. Overall, we want to make sure that you know everything from when you first get set up with Teams all the way to, okay, I'm in a team, I'm functioning, how do I actually collaborate and what are best practices around collaboration within Teams? So we'll go through some logistics. We want you to know about some dates that are upcoming that are pertinent to the hackathon itself. We'll go through getting set up on Teams. That means if you've never seen Teams before, or if you already have Teams within your organization, if you want to set it up on a browser, we'll go through all of those. The NurseHack4Health Teams channel. So Dave and team have done an awesome job of collecting feedback from last time, and they've created a great structure for us for this hackathon going forward. So I'll go through each channel and what you can use inside of each. How do I get started? So whether it's joining a team, creating a team, looking for people with different skills, we'll make sure that you know exactly how to do that. And then also once you're in a team, how do I collaborate, whether it be co-authoring, whiteboarding, chatting with people, doing a live meeting. There's so many different options within Teams. So we'll go through those today. And a lot of this is going to be me giving you an overview of what I'm about to show you and doing a live demo because we don't want to bore you with PowerPoint slides. but we will always have these slides. We've taken a lot of screenshots for you so that if you learn better through just seeing the visual, we will have this resource for you afterwards as well. And all of the recording, as Dave said, will be available as well. So let's get started. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. When you register, this is the email that you're actually going to receive. Welcome to NurseHack4Health, right? This is actually the email that I received. I just took a screenshot of this. It has so much good information about completing your registration. So when it comes to downloading Teams, it has the link there, as you can see, when it comes to adding it to your calendar. All these links are there. Definitely check it out. You don't have to memorize anything from what I'm about to present because it's all in that email, but we want to break it down and make it really simple and clear for you. So let's go through it. The event schedule. Now, this is Friday, November 13th through Sunday, November 15th. All of this is written down. Don't want to bore you on every single time in detail, but that is the overall schedule, starting on Friday at 7 p.m., ending on Sunday right after the 2 p.m. session. So preparing for the hackathon. So thank you so much for joining today. And if you think this is useful for any of your colleagues, pass along the recording. But on Wednesday, October 28th at 7 p.m., we do want you to keep this in mind. This is design thinking for hackathon. So it's going to be really similar today, where it will be a live event. It will be a presentation, open Q&A, moderated on the back end, really similar to this session. So it's more focused on design thinking rather than actually taking you through the team's setup process, but really interesting information here that will prepare you for having the best experience possible when it comes to the actual hackathon in November. Another one that I want to suggest, and probably a more fun one, is Wednesday, November 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is just open networking. It's a happy hour. We call it Hacker Happy Hour Networking. And it's just where you can be super interactive. Maybe you meet the organizers, meet people that could potentially be on your team. There's a ton of mentors from Microsoft that are there to coach you. So just getting to know everyone, maybe even brainstorming some ideas, whatever you need it to be during that session. So that one's much more interactive and totally based on your own experience. The one on October 28th is more of a live event, a one-to-many type of presentation like what we're doing today. Okay, so let's talk about getting set up. This is the first part. We're going to go over the following. How do I even get set up? How do I run Teams in a browser? If you already know Teams, then how do I just switch tenants? And then also configuring notifications. We will give you this resource at the end. Hopefully this is enough to get you set up, but if you are experiencing any technical issues actually getting into Teams, you can still email us. We're here to help you. It's support@nursehack4health.org. I think after going through this, you'll be all set, but we are here to help you if you still need some more hands-on assistance. So let's go into actually downloading Teams. So I'm going to switch back and forth here between my browser for the actual demo and my slides here. So actually downloading Microsoft Teams. You do not have to memorize this link at all, but this is where you're going to go if you have never seen Teams before and you don't already have Teams within your organization. You're just going to come to this link. It's in the email. Click download for desktop, and you'll be able to download the Teams client right there. So the other piece is, and you will see today, my entire demonstration is actually in a browser, in a web browser. So it's not the thick client that I use on my desktop every day. I'll show you this. I'm just going over to my Teams browser version, and this is actually where you can find it. So you can do it on your desktop client. You can do it in the browser. Teams is this really consistent experience no matter what device you're using or what browser you're using. So you have different options there. Now, you might already have Teams. And if you already have Teams within your organization, then what you need to be able to do is switch to the different tenant that actually hosts the NurseHack4Health, and that's called the DevUp tenant. So I'm going to show you where to do that. If you're already within your team's environment, you're going to come over here by your name. Mine's Sam Brown, that's why it says SB up here. And you'll see this says DevUp. Now, if I click that drop down, then it's going to show you all of the different tenants that I'm a part of. Usually, I'm in my Microsoft tenant. So usually, if you use Teams, you'll be in a completely different tenant. It won't say DevUp. But once you go through the registration process and you do become an authorized guest within the DevUp tenant, you'll be able to click this drop down right here and just click on DevUp. It will take you to this tenant. And because you've already gone through the authorization process, it will be super smooth for you. So those are the three options, right? Either you've never had Teams before and you need to actually download it. You can actually join in your browser if you want. If you already have Teams, no matter if you're in your browser version or your desktop version, you just click here and go to the actual DevUp tenant. One thing I wanted to go over quickly is notifications. Now, some people want to be notified constantly, whether it's that they got a chat or they want some notifications like every hour on some activity that's going on in the team. I mean, this is going to be 3 days of intense work for everyone, and we want to make sure that you're notified about things that you want, but not necessarily the things that you don't want to hear about. So if you go up to your name on the top right-hand corner and you actually just go down to settings, you can come over here to notifications. And in notifications, you can specify how often do you want an email sent to you on missed activity? Do you want an actual sound to play every time you have a notification? Some people want that, some people don't. You can edit notifications when it comes to chat in particular, whether if you're at mentioned or if there's a reply to something that you said, if there's a reaction and a like. I mean, it's really customizable. So again, I'm going to do it one more time. You just come up here, you go to settings, you go to notifications, and all of that can be customized here. We want to make sure you have a great experience and you don't have an abundance of notifications where you don't want them. So with that, we went over downloading Teams, how to run it in a browser, how to actually go through and choose a different tenant if you're already using it, and then how to configure notifications. Now, again, one thing we want to note, let me go back here, is that if you're still having technical issues, please don't hesitate. We're here for you at support@nursehack4health.org. Now, once you actually get into the DevUp tenant and you're collaborating with your team, which will get you there, then there's a different channel where you can actually reach out for technical support. But getting help to actually get into Teams, reach out to that email address. So I'll pause there on getting set up on Teams. Any questions so far, Dave?
We do not have any questions yet. Actually, we did have one, just so that everyone does know that the event is being broadcasted and your mics are not hot, just our mics are. So no need to worry about any kind of background noise.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. This is Microsoft Teams live events, which is a little bit different from a standard Teams meeting. It's more meant for like a one-to-many type of conversation. And so all of the attendants, you can't share your screen or share audio or video, but you're more than welcome to write into the Q&A like Dave showed at the beginning. And we're moderating it on the back end the entire time.
Real quick, I also added another announcement, just a comment in the announcements. If you were registered for the last hackathon and you registered this time with the same email address, you will now see both teams. So you'll see the spring hackathon as well as the fall hackathon. So we're going to be working out of the fall one.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, next section. So like we said, we got a lot of feedback from last time, and we created a great structure for this upcoming hackathon. Now, it's all based on Teams channels. So I'm going to take you through each and every one of these channels. There's introduce yourself, announcements, issues and feedback, mentor help requests, the social feed, and training. So we'll go through each of those right away, real time, because I think that's the best way to learn. So if you come over here, this is my DevOps environment. This is Microsoft Teams as a whole. I am in my Teams tab over here, and within this NurseHack4Health Fall 2020 Hackathon team, there are all these different channels. Now, when you set up a team, you get a general channel, so everyone's going to be invited to this channel. But we do have channels that are contextually different depending on what you may need during the event. So we'll go through each of these in order here. Announcements. So as you can see, announcements, Dave already said, hey, thank you for joining. Here's some next steps. Here's an upcoming events and schedule, a quick fire challenge. Anything that the organizers want to share out with you, the entire group, that's going to be in the announcements channel. And as you can see, Dave's already been posting there. So check back there and make sure that you catch up on all of the latest with the organizers of NurseHack4Health. Big one that I want to focus on, as soon as you get into DevUp, the tenant here, make sure you go to the introduce yourself channel, okay? Because we want to know you, we want to know where you're from, we want to know why you're here. You know, it's an awesome event and we're really excited to have you here. So we need to make sure that as soon as you get in, go to introduce yourself. You can already see Teresa is a nurse of over 30 years. You know, you see a little background of her. We have Cindy, you know, we have Suburu, Nikki, Marion. So people are already doing a great job. Molly McCarthy is a big leader for us in US Health and Life Sciences at Microsoft, and she's already posting. So you can see some great examples in here, but make sure that you do introduce yourself. It's first of all great because we want to use this as a networking opportunity as well, but then you can also let people know why you're here, what skill set you have, what common backgrounds you may have, etc. So make sure you do that first. We'll go to the issues and feedback channel. Now, like I was saying beforehand, if you have trouble getting into Teams, then you might want to email that support email address, and I'm sure Dave will put it in the chat here. But once you're in here and you're having any type of technical issues, you can actually just post in issues and feedback. Okay, so we will be here on the Microsoft side. All the organizers will be checking this. You can post technical issues, but then you can also post any feedback you have for us, things we can do differently during the event, but also for future events. Any questions or comments you have, this is the place to go in terms of channels. The mentor help request. We don't have any of these yet because the event hasn't started and people aren't in need yet, but this is where we want you to come in and post if you need mentor help. Now, for people that experienced the event last time, you might be more familiar with the mentors, but there's a lot of people on the Microsoft side that will help both in terms of technical mentoring, but then we also have a lot of industry executives that are going to be here if you need people more on the healthcare side. Depending on what you need, post in here. We will be constantly monitoring this. If we're not the right people, then we usually know the right people and we'll help to connect you to the right person. So just make sure that you don't hesitate to reach out if you do need a mentor. A lot of the people that are coaching on the Microsoft side this time are actually joining a team, but we also have a lot of people that can dive into different teams if you do need help. Social feed. So the social feed channel, as you can tell right now, there's a lot of Twitter activity coming in from Flow. But we want this to be a place where it can be any social media, any gifts that you want to share, any type of, funny thing you want to share with the group, posting about a happy hour, anything socially that doesn't really fall into the rest of these channels. Feel free, super open forum. We love to see what you have to say. And we'll go over the sample team in a little bit. That we created that just so you would see what it looks like. But the last one that everyone's going to see is training. So training has a file tab. It has a notebook tab up here. A lot of the training piece is actually in OneNote, and you'll see this huge table of contents, all for like general training, Teams as a whole, Azure, Power BI. I mean, you name it on the Microsoft side. If there's a product there's something in here to get you started. And again, if you need more hands-on help, feel free to post about a mentor help request. Absolutely, we're here to help you, and we have a ton of resources that are poured into this event. So that is all of the channels and a general overview of each of them. Are there any questions on the channels themselves?
We do not have any questions coming in yet, but I do want to highlight two things. One, if you can go back to the main post within the training, we just announced this today.
Oh, yeah.
So that last post there, free training to prepare for the hackathon. This is a cloud skills challenge. We've had someone that curated several different courses that you can take. These are all free. And we're actually going to do a little leaderboard on this as well. So I've added it as a tab in the training channel. Obviously, we just published this today, but you can sign up for this. You can start going through any one of these trainings. There are a lot of introductions. So if you're not familiar with what Power Apps are, then take the introduction. You'll at least know what it is. You might be able to relate that to the solution idea that you have in mind. But anyway, go through each one of those. We are going to be using GitHub for storing the repository for all of the solutions and the MVPs that the teams are going to be building. So there is an intro to GitHub on there as well. So please definitely recommend getting in there, register for it. And like I said, there is going to be a little bit of a leaderboard in there that will keep track of who's taken what, and might be something special for those at the top of the leaderboard. I'll also point out, and Sam said this in the announcements channel. Can we go back to that?
Yeah.
The very first post at the top of this, and I'll try to bring it down as well as we have more posts. Look at this one post. If you look at anything when you first log into Teams for the first time, look at this one post, because it goes over several things that Sam just mentioned. You know, go to the introduce yourself channel, reminder that there's a training channel. How do you navigate the training channel? The team builder, which we're going to show in a minute. So again, read that post because that will get you started as well. And that's really all I have here to cover. You still have any questions? So I'll repeat again, though, if anybody does have any questions, please just type them in and we'll field them as we go.
Yeah, awesome. And we want to know where you're from. I'm in Manhattan right now, cover healthcare customers all over the East Coast, but would love to hear where you're from too. So feel free to post even just that. All right, so yes, this post is awesome. It gives a really great general overview. Thanks for that, Dave. I think the best thing to go to now, let me go back to my presentation here. So we're done with the channels. Now let's talk about, great, the channels are there. I've gotten into Teams. How do I actually get started with a team? So we'll go through Team Builder. That's something that is new to this hackathon, and hopefully will make it a lot easier for you to either create a team, find a team that you want to be on, find people by their skill, post out about your skills so that other people can find you. We wanted to make that a much more simple process this time, and Dave and team have done a really great job. So I'm going to take you through each step of that, depending on how you're coming in and how you want to participate. So let's go back here. Now, the team builder is both in this general channel and it's also in the introduce yourself channel. So introduce yourself, you can see team builder here. General tab, general channel, you can see team builder here. So let's go ahead and do it in the general channel. So now, if I come in here, you can see there are two tabs. There are teams and users. Now, first we'll go to, I want to create a team. So say that you are just wanting to create a team from scratch. Usually, you know, you have an idea in mind or you have some people that you want to participate with. So the first thing that you will come up with is a challenge area. Now, there are two challenge areas this time, either education or communication. So whichever your idea mostly fits into, pick one of those and you'll be a part of that challenge. Now, all you have to do is fill out a team name and a description. And you can even say, we're looking for people with these types of skills. Maybe you want to say C#, maybe you want nursing, whatever it might be. When you create a team, when you click that blue button, it actually automatically creates a channel over here, just like I have this team, sample team. It will create a channel for you and the rest of your team, of your solution team. So it's a super, super easy process for if you want to actually create a team. But let's say that you don't want to create a team from scratch. You actually just want to filter by teams that are seeking specific skills. So you can also click here and filter by C#, for example, whatever it might be. There's no teams in here right now, obviously, because we haven't started the hackathon yet, but we encourage you to start creating. You can go in there today and create, and we want to make sure to have it so that there are teams that are available for people if you have a skill that you want to bring, but you don't quite have an idea yet, right? So the other tab here is users, and you can actually update your skills here. In fact, we really encourage that. Similar to the Introduce Yourself channel, this is a more formalized way so that people can search for you. So if you have a nursing skill or you have mobile skill, whatever it might be, add those skills in here, click save, because then people can search for you and they can look for you to join their team as well. If you have an idea, say, or you have a team and you're looking for people and you're looking for other hackers, then you can actually go in here. Maybe you're looking for someone with SQL skills. You know that Dave and Samir have those. Say you want to reach out to Dave and chat with him, then you can actually go and chat directly with Dave. Now, I'm not going to reopen because I'm producing this right now, but you can see how easy it is to actually interact with the person that you're trying to recruit onto your team. So last time, I think we had some confusion around creating the teams and joining the teams, and hopefully this is a super easy experience for you, whether you want to look for someone that's skilled in a specific area, whether you have a skill and you're looking for a team with an idea, or you want to actually just create something from scratch and add people in to your team. So that is Team Builder. And again, want to reiterate, it's both in the general channel, but it's also in Introduce Yourself. Should make it a much easier experience in terms of getting on a solution team to begin with. Any questions there?
No questions, just one comment from someone that said that was the most difficult. And the last hackathon, we did have a much more organic method of finding a team, creating a team. So yes, we did try to make it much more streamlined. So hopefully this will benefit everyone. Again, just once you get into teams, head on over to the Team Builder. Again, have it on two places. We have it at the top of both general as well as Introduce Yourself. So no matter which channel you're in, you can click on that and add your skills for right now. So if you have an idea, we encourage everyone, if you have an idea, start adding those teams in. We want people ideating early this time, right? Last time we kind of waited until Friday to start doing the ideation and the team formation and all. We have a lot more runway this time. So get in there and start doing it now, and then you'll be ready when it comes Friday the 13th. So.
Awesome. And I should say one more piece on the Team Builder. I wasn't showing this at first, but Dave did create this sample team. Another thing that you can do is you can see all the teams, and instead of just chatting one-on-one with one of the hackers that's on that team, which you can do, you can also just join the sample team. And again, you'll be added to that channel that they have created through this Team Builder. So it should make it a very simple and clear experience for you. But as always, if you're still having trouble, we're here to help you find a team. We're just glad you're here, and we can always use your support no matter what background you're bringing.
I'll add one more thing to that because you pointed out the join. Once you've joined a team, when you come back into, or you're on this page, the team page, it'll show you right at the top that you're on this specific team. And then you can leave it if you so choose to leave it. Maybe there's another team, or maybe teams are getting combined and you decided to all move over to another team. You can do that. So there's no problem with joining or leaving a team. When you do join or leave, it hasn't been wired up yet, but it's getting ready to get wired up. But we are going to post a message to that team solution channel that says Dave Upton just joined your team. So that way the whole team is aware that somebody just joined, and then they can, again, start including you in those conversations. So.
Awesome. All right. So no more questions, Dave?
No questions.
Okay.
We have a quiet group tonight.
We do, yeah. Yeah, that's okay though. We will be around. So if you're new to Teams and you're just taking it all in, play around with it, and our team will be here. We still have a while before the hack. So, all right, last section. How do I actually collaborate with my team? So again, we went through getting into Teams in the first place. Then what are these channels that I'm looking at? Okay, now how do I create a team or join a team? So now you're in the team. How do you actually collaborate? So this one, there's a ton of different ways, as you can see down here, whether it be pinning the channel, which I'll show you how to do. You can start a conversation in the channel, and that'll go to everyone that's in your solution team. You can reach out to someone one-on-one. You all can all collaborate on a file, on a whiteboard even. You can meet now and have a meeting within your team, multiple interactive meetings at one time, whatever is the best for what you need at that time. And it's going to be 3 days of, I guarantee, using probably all of these. So let me show you what that will look like. All right. So when we go into this team, this is where I want to show you the sample team. So I have been added to this as my solution team. This is just a sample team here. Again, the sample team, the team that you're on, it's going to be created off of that team builder that we showed before. So you don't have to do any of this channel creation. It will be created for you, whether you created the team or whether you're joining that team that's already been created. So if I want to pin this channel, then I actually can just click these 3 ellipses and click pin. So that will mean that it comes to the top of my team, of my team's environment. So it's a pin channel, come to the top. I know that I'm going to be collaborating with them more than probably any of these other channels. Super easy to do. I'm going to unpin it just so you know, but you just look for those 3 dots and you click pin. That's, for me within my team's environment every day, I do pin the people that I collaborate with the most. You can do that in a chat too within Teams, depending on what you need most. So say that I want to post out, say I just organized this team and I want to post out to everybody on the team. I'm actually going to come down here. And it says new conversation here because no one's posted anything yet. It says, okay, let's get the conversation started. You click new conversation and you would just add in whatever you want. Hey, team. So people can reply directly, but every single person that's in that channel is going to be able to see this, right? And you can add fun stuff. I mean, you can add any file that you want. You can change the font here, just like in a regular, any type of regular Word doc. You can add in emojis, GIFs. You can maybe put in like a sticker or a meme. Now, here's the kicker. You can also click Meet Now. There is this button here, and then there's also this button at the top. If you click on Meet, then what's going to happen is it will say you can add a subject if you want. You can turn on your video if you want. Oh, Dave replied. Perfect. Did you see that notification that popped up? It said Dave replied to the conversation. So awesome. So you can add in a subject, but when you click Meet Now, not everyone within that channel is going to get a notification that you want the team to meet, right? So this is if you want everyone to be involved, which a lot of times, since we're collaborating so closely over these 3 days, you're going to want to do. Now, if you don't want every single person to be involved, oh, best team ever. I agree. So I'm going to heart that. Thanks, Dave. So if you just want to communicate, say I just want to communicate with Dave, I don't want every single person to have to be involved because Dave has a certain skill, say, that I want to ask him about, then I can just come over to my chat. So you'll see I went from Teams to chat. Chat is more for like one-on-one or a small group conversation, but I'm going to go up and I'm actually going to go find Dave. So I click on this new message button and it says enter name, email, super simple. So I'm just going to look for Dave. Now, Dave is the organizer and I click on his name and I can just ask him, did you check out the new file? And this, as you can see, is within your chat tab and it's only going directly to Dave. You can add in multiple people if you want. Say I want to add in Dave and Sarah, for example. You can add 2 people into a chat. Doesn't have to be just one-on-one, but this is more for if you don't want every single person to be involved in the conversation. From here with Dave, I can do the same version of Meet Now. I can call him and we can have a call just on our own. If you're on another call and you want to start a call, the other call will just be paused. So you can actually do multiple Meet Now type of situations at the same time and revert back to the call that you were on once you're done with the current call. So lots of options here. And again, same thing as if you're posting in the larger group, you have a lot of formatting, a lot of emojis, anything that you want, the best way to express whatever you need to express is all down here. So that is pinning the channel, starting the conversation within the actual channel, taking it out to a chat and collaborating with someone more on one-on-one or small group basis. Now I want to show you more on getting outside of just messaging and looking at co-authoring and then also whiteboarding, because it might be an easier way for you to express, to brainstorm, to make sure that you're collaborating in other ways. So right now you can see in this channel, I am on posts right here. So if I go over to files, now I uploaded this, there we go, 8 hours ago. It's just a sample document. Anything that I post in this channel as a file, it will automatically be saved into this files tab. So this is my sample document, but anything else that anyone ever shares here, whether it be a PowerPoint, doesn't have to be a Word document, any type of file is going to be stored here. So anyone within your channel will be able to see it and use it. Now, if I go into this sample doc, I can pull it up actually within my team's environment. And if Dave or anyone else on the team wants to collaborate, they will actually show up in a different color. And you can see them typing. There we go. There he is. He's in blue. You can see him typing in real time. So we can actually co-author in real time together. We can, if I want to, I can take this out of Teams, say that I want to multitask, and I just want to open this up in my desktop app in Word. I can just click Open in Desktop app. And I won't do that now because I don't want to, let's see. Go here, cancel that. But as you can see, lots of different ways. So let me go back and show you that again so that we can make sure you know where to go if you want to collaborate. So within your channel, there's posts. But if you ever want to share any files, the files will all be stored here. You just click on this. This link brings it up in Teams. But you also have the options to open it up in an app, in the app itself, so in this case, Microsoft Word, or in your browser separately. So lots of different options there. If you download it, it's going to download a local copy, so no one will be able to co-author with you like you saw Dave doing. But as long as you open it in one of these 3 areas, everyone can co-author and see everything together. So this is files, can do the same thing on PowerPoint, for example. Another option, though, that we've been utilizing, oh, here we go. So it says Dave mentioned you, and let's click on it and see what's up. So Dave mentioned at Samantha Brown, I made some updates to this, right? That's a super typical example, thanks, Dave, of something that might happen, right? You're collaborating on a document or a PowerPoint presentation, and I want to go in and I want to see what he did. So I might just click on this and look at the edits that he made. Oh, he added the word. What is day, I guess. But yes, awesome example. And as you can see, just allows for this real-time collaboration. You don't have to go search through your emails. You don't have to go and remember where the file was stored that you shared with one person in a one-off conversation. It's all going to be in the context that you need it without you having to search constantly to remember where it is. Another thing that you can do super easily is Microsoft Whiteboard. And so I'm just going to show you this. Now, I just wrote example. I'm going to use my pen here. Hello. You can write on this and you can share this out with your team. You can actually put in like a sticky note. Make sure to check on the brainstorming doc. You can add in text if you want through a text box, whatever you want to do. Whiteboard is a really great way. You know, I did a lot of like demonstrations in person with customers, and Whiteboard has really been helping me because it allows me to collaborate in real time with them and not just share a document. You know, it's a more engaging experience. So the whole team can use Whiteboard, and then what you can do is you can come up here and you can export the image, which we recommend doing that just to make sure that you have it. You can put it in the team, whatever you need, but it's just another way to make sure that you have the collaboration tools that you need all in one spot. So this is just whiteboard.microsoft.com, super accessible. Encourage you to play around with that. So we went over, let's do a little review here. We went over creating the actual channel. Once you get into the channel, pinning it, starting the conversation here or within a chat, all the things that you can do within a chat, the Meet Now function. And then in terms of collaborating, we went over co-authoring and then also using Microsoft Whiteboard. Any questions on any of those?
We do not have any questions on the feed right now.
Okay.
And I was probably distracted reading and publishing. Did we cover earlier notifications?
We did. The very beginning, and that's a good point. Let's bring it back up one more time, because as you are going through this, you'll notice that you saw Dave's notification, for example, when he tagged me in this post. You might not want to see those all the time. It totally depends on your preference. I know people that really want to see them and be notified and people that don't. So it's all up to you, but you can easily change those notification systems. We'll go over it one more time. Up here, you just go to your settings, and there's only 3 on here. It's notifications, right? So you can change the notifications that you get within chats and meetings, anything else. You can say if you want sound or not, any type of emails that you want, or you can completely customize it. So that's where you'll go in to set those, and you'll probably change those over time. Another thing that I really recommend is just getting into Teams and playing around, especially this last section on collaborating once you're actually in the team. It just comes with practice, right? And it's something that I'm in every single day, but if you've never seen it before, it just takes a couple of times of understanding where things are, whether it be where to collaborate with the whole team, where to collaborate with just a one-on-one or a small group, and where to actually share out and what tools to use there. But the good news is Teams is this all-in-one interface. So every tool that you're using at least is contained in here, and everything that you share out with your team is persistently saved in here. So it will hopefully be a very clear and simple experience for you as you join the hackathon. We want you to focus on the idea and building and not have to worry about all the technical difficulties.
All right. No other questions, but I do want to just mention, Sam showed Whiteboard through just the Whiteboard app. You can share a whiteboard inside of a Teams Meet Now. Recently learned though, just if you do that, use the recommendation to export it though. It can be a little bit tricky to try to find that whiteboard after the fact, especially as a guest user and a tenant using Meet now. But you can share your desktop or share a whiteboard just like you can share a desktop in a Teams meeting. And unfortunately, we can't really show you that because we're in a meeting, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that, but we'll provide some screenshots afterwards.
Yeah, we have some screenshots, and again, we'll always be here monitoring if you do have questions. So with that, any more questions in the chat, Dave?
I do not have any more questions in the chat. I don't want to just cut off the session, but I think we're wrapping up. Sam and I will hang around for a little bit in case anyone does want to ask a question. We can obviously answer it live or just use the chat as well. So.